What's up, everybody? Today we are talking about the 5 things you need to know before moving to the Black Hills. So let's get started because this is one that everybody moves here for, and it is the scenery. The Black Hills is one of the most beautiful places in the United States. If you've ever saw pictures of Sylvan Lake or Spearfish Canyon or anything like that, you would know that I am telling the absolute truth because it's one of the most beautiful places. And it doesn't matter if it's winter, spring, summer, or fall. We have some amazing scenic places here. There's tons of hiking, there's hunting, there's backpacking, snowshoeing, snowmobiling. There's just so many things here to do in the outdoors that's what draws most of us to this area. I was lucky enough to be born and raised here, but after seeing so many people relocate to the area for reasons like freedom, it's nice to see those open spaces where they can go and enjoy those freedoms. That takes us into topic number 2, and that's weather. So I know I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for saying this, but it's really not as bad as some people say. I will say I have relocated to Florida because it does get brutally cold here in the winter, but let's be honest, it really lasts for like a week here and then a week there. So day before yesterday was 65 degrees, yesterday was 9, and today we're going to be back up in the 60s. So that just kind of tells you that Mother Nature here is a little bit bipolar. So that's something you're going to have to contend with. Our summers are super hot and you're going to want to spend those at the lake or out doing UTVs in the hills. And in the wintertime, you're probably going to want to be skiing or snowmobiling or snowshoeing or any of those winter sport activities. And we have tons of those here. So truthfully, it doesn't matter what season it is, there is always something to do. And that's one thing that I really love about the Black Hills. Now, if you're the type of person who wants to go visit Topgolf, you might have some issues. That's probably not what you're going to see here. That's bigger cities, things to do like that. But we now have indoor football. We have hockey. All of that's in Rapid City. So we love to spend an evening and go down there and eat at a restaurant in Rapid City that we don't have in our small town of Belle, South Dakota. And then we like to go hit up a hockey game or watch the indoor football games. And I will say, I'm not a huge football fan, but I really liked our indoor football team. It was so much fun. It was super fast paced. We're a soccer family, so it's like the equivalent of outdoor soccer to indoor soccer. Indoor soccer is just so much more fast paced, so much more actionable, and indoor football versus outdoor football is the same. And if you want to go to an outdoor football game, Denver Broncos are only a 6-hour drive away. So it's not that far to get somewhere if that is something that you want to do. We just don't currently have anything in the state. But those are a couple of the favorite things that I like to do during all of our 4 seasons that we get to experience here. All right, diving into number 3, we are talking about affordability. And this is kind of a hot topic because honestly, in my opinion, even as a real estate agent, affordability is kind of a laughable term these days because house prices have skyrocketed everywhere. So in terms of affordability, yes, we are more affordable than most of the United States. We sit 86 out of 100. So there is some affordable options up here. But I know a lot of people coming from out of state think they can still buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house here for $150,000, and that's just not the case anymore. You will find some 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses in these smaller communities that are older homes in that $250,000 range, but it's kind of hard to find. And especially if you want land. Land is getting to be a hot commodity around here. It seems like everybody and their dog wanted to move here for freedom in the last couple of years. So our land got swooped up and there's just not as much of it available. The other option here is we have a lot of diversity in our housing. So we have small little communities like Belle, South Dakota, where I live, which we have 5,000 people. You have Rapid City, South Dakota, which is 75 to 100,000. Man, that's creeping up depending on when you watch this video. I hate to quote a population because it's just blowing up in size over there. Then you have smaller communities like Sturgis, South Dakota. You have Spearfish, South Dakota, and all of them are growing and they all have new construction homes coming in. We just had probably 3 here listed in Belle Fourche in the last week. For a small community, that's pretty good. So we are starting to see a lot of new housing options coming. Then you have subdivisions like up by Lead, which is Powder House Pass, and those, in my opinion, are more vacation rental homes or vacation homes for people, and those are in that price point of usually close to $1 million or higher. There's great, beautiful homes up there, a lot of modern architecture, and we have a lot of new housing subdivisions popping up left and right. So if you're interested in moving to this area, there's really a lot of options. It just depends on what town you want to be in and where you want to raise your family to narrow down what options are going to be the right fit for you and what's available at that time. Diving into number 4, we are talking about workforce and small businesses. So you will find in our area, there's a lot more mom and pop shops. There's not a lot of commercial businesses. There is some industrial and some manufacturing. We have the advantage here in Belle Fourche of the railway. So we have a lot of openings for any manufacturers who would like to come here, but there are a few out there already. So we have a lot of options in this area. Then going into Spearfish, Lead, Deadwood, you're looking more into tourism. So that's what they kind of thrive off of, is gambling, hospitality, and things like that. And in Rapid City, that's our bigger town, which is 45 minutes away again. That has a lot more options for jobs and different opportunities there. Now, I will say it doesn't matter what town you want to move to. There is a lot of opportunities to start a small business or to start a big firm. So there's a lot of people here still looking for jobs and looking for maybe a pay increase or something like that. So there's a lot of opportunities for anyone who's wanting to relocate their family here and potentially bring their business with them. Because like I said, we have a lot of opportunities for either small businesses or large manufacturers. Moving on to number 5, and this is probably my absolute favorite. We are talking about community involvement. No matter what community you move to, there are opportunities for you to get involved. And that's one thing that I have really been passionate about this last year, is getting more involved in our community. It's one thing to sit on Facebook and gripe about the ins and outs of communities, because honestly, every community has their pitfalls. Every community has things that they do really, really well. So if you find that there are pitfalls in any community, I encourage you to get involved. And that's one thing about this area, is there's a lot of opportunities to get involved. We are still small towns, so sometimes it's who you know, but I will say that you can walk into probably any chamber of commerce, any economic development corp, any city, and ask how you can get involved and use your expertise to make your town a better place, whichever town that is that you choose. The other option that kind of goes into that is education. And like I said, we are small communities. So our education opportunities are awesome. We actually have several CTE buildings that do a lot of either learning how to drive truck, learning how to be a CNA. Spearfish just started a new CTE building that does a lot of apprenticeship programs, and just there's so many options here for our kids that weren't here when I was growing up. So it's great to see how our communities have evolved and how they have used some of those programs to build out our education options for our kids here today. We do also have colleges in the area. So we have Black Hills State University. That's where my husband's a graduate from. We also have several colleges in Rapid City. And then of course, there's always online college as well. So I've seen more and more people doing that. We also have a lot of different, like I said, trade programs. I personally started college at Southeast Technical Institute down in Sioux Falls, and quickly found out that Sioux Falls was just a little too big for my britches. And so I moved back to this area for some more opportunities. So there's a lot of options that are available, and now the schools are talking to each other more. So they're able to go to school here for credits here and just different things like that. So there's actually a lot more opportunity than most people truly think. Hopefully that was enough to sell the Black Hills to you and let you know how awesome of a community it was. I know I thoroughly enjoyed growing up here as a child, and I love raising my kids here. It's just a beautiful place to call home. So if you think that this is where you want to find your next home, I encourage you to give me a call or shoot me a text or email. My information is going to be below, but you can always text me at 605-759-0808, and I would love nothing more than to help you find your dream house here in the Black Hills of South Dakota.